Today we're going to be doing the Unit 9 Quiz 3 review. So we're doing what you need to get ready to take that quiz. So first of all, let's take a look at this one. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually multiply across the top. So I'm going to take 4 times 6, which is 24, a to the 6 times a squared. When you add those together, remember you add exponents when you add things of like bases. So you're going to get 24a to the 8th. Then you're going to divide by 2 times 3, which is 6. A to the 4th times a to the 3rd is a to the 7th. Then 24 divided by 6 is going to give me 4. And then when I take a to the 8th divided by a to the 7th, you're going to subtract those exponents, and I'm going to get a to the 1st, which I can just write as a. So each of these are going to have two answers because we're looking for a simplified rational expression and an excluded value. So I need to figure out what's going to make 6a to the 7th not equal to 0. Okay? So the only way that can be is if a is equal to 0. So we're going to say, okay, a cannot be equal to 0. And the reason for that, if you think about it, a to the 7th is the same as a times itself 7 times, which is why it cannot be 0. Now, let's take a look at number 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is just write this out as one big fraction with all of those factors on top. Okay? So before I cross anything out, I'm just going to quickly do my excluded value. So each of those factors, x minus 3 cannot equal 0, and x plus 6 cannot equal 0. So here I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get that x is not 3. Subtract 6 from both sides, and I get that x is not negative 6. So here are my excluded values. Now I need to do my simplified radical. So I'm going to go ahead and cross off those two factors of x minus 3. Then left on top, I'm going to have x plus 5, and left on the bottom, I'm going to have x plus 6. So this is my simplified rational expression. Now, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3, we're going to have to factor. Okay, so I'm going to set up this for factoring. So I am multiplying to 12 and adding to 7. So to do that, I'm going to have 4 and 3. So that's going to factor down to x plus 4, x plus 3. Remember, I can use that shortcut way of factoring. So then I'm going to have x squared up top here, and then x plus 3. And then on the bottom, I'm going to have x. I like to write that out first. And then I have x plus 4, x plus 3. So now I'm going to have to cross it off. So I'm going to take the x plus 3's and cross them off. So then I have x squared divided by x times x plus 4. So x squared divided by x, that's just going to give me x on the top, and we're going to completely get rid of this x right here. And on the bottom, we're going to have x plus 4. So that's my final simplified version. So now I need to get my excluded values. So each one of those factors, including the x, cannot be equal to 0. Well, we already have this one, x cannot be equal to 0. Well, this one, x cannot be negative 4 when you solve it for x. For this one, x cannot be negative 3 when you solve it for x. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 4. Now, number 4 is going to require a lot of factoring. In fact, we have to factor every single thing. Okay, so let's do the top first. So then we're going to multiply negative 9, add to 0. That's going to be negative 3 and positive 3. Then, for the other top, multiplying to negative 49, adding to 0. That's going to be 7 and negative 7. For the bottom, multiplying to negative 21, adding to 4, positive 7, negative 3. And finally, multiplying to 24, adding to 11, positive 8, positive 3. So now I'm going to write those all out as factors. So I'm going to have x minus 3, x plus 3, x plus 7, x minus 7. Same thing, I'm going to keep writing across the bottom. X plus 7, x minus 3, x plus 8, x plus 3. Okay, so I've written out all of my factors now. So first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and let's get our excluded values before we cross anything off. So x plus 7 cannot be equal to 0. X minus 3 cannot be equal to 0. X plus 8 cannot be equal to 0. X plus 3 cannot be equal to 0. So we're going to go ahead and solve each of those for x. Like so. So each of these represent my excluded values. I'm filming a video, you need to come back. So then what we're going to do is we are going to cross things off. So we're going to cross off here, and we can cross off here. Now I notice that I can't cross anything off. So I have x minus 3, x minus 7. And on the bottom, oops, I can cross off x minus 7, or x minus 3, I apologize. So then I have x minus 7 divided by x plus 8. So this right here is my final answer for number 4. Let's take a look at number 5. So it says in the 2008 Summer Olympics in Beijing, LaShawn Merritt of the United States won the gold medal for the 300-meter sprint. So he went 300 meters in 45.75 seconds. So they want to know his speed in kilometers per hour. So the first thing I need to do is convert meters to hours. So kilo means 1,000. So we're going to have 1,000 meters for every 1 kilometer. So right away, I've canceled out meters. So now I need to convert seconds to hours. Well, we know there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. So I've simplified seconds out, and now I need to simplify to hours. So I know there's 60 minutes in every 1 hour. So now I've crossed off that minute label. So our goal was to get it to kilometers per hour, which happened to be the only labels I have left. So what you're going to do is you're going to do 300 divided by 445.75 divided by 1,000 times 60 times 60. And when you do that, you end up getting 23.61 kilometers per hour. So what I would do is try plugging that into your calculator and making sure you get the same answer as I did. All right, let's take a look at number 6. So for number 6, we need to simplify. So you can simplify before or after, it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and let's do 10 divided by 4, and we get 5 to 2, x squared, and then y squared. So this second one, I can't flip anything, so I'm just going to flip the fraction since I can't simplify. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's multiply. So we're going to do 5 times 16, and that's going to give us 80. And then we have x to the 4th, y squared. 2 times 5 is 10, x squared, y squared. Okay, so now we can actually simplify 80 over 10. But before I do that, I'm going to get my excluded values. So I get 10x squared, y squared is not equal to 0. So then the only way that's going to be equal to 0 is if x squared is not equal to 0 or y squared is not equal to 0. So then I get that x is not equal to 0 and y is not equal to 0. Okay, so those are my two excluded values there. So then I can go through and start simplifying this. Well, 80 divided by 10 is just going to give me 8. Y squared over y squared is going to cancel out since we have the same exponent over itself. X to the 4th divided by x squared is just going to give you x squared when you subtract out those exponents. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 7. So we have x plus 6, x minus 1, x minus 4, x minus 2. So now, since we're dividing that second fraction, we're going to flip it so that we multiply. Like so. Okay, so before I cross anything out, I'm going to shoot for my excluded value. So x minus 4 is not equal to 0, x minus 2 is not equal to 0, and lastly, x plus 6 is not equal to 0. So when you solve each of those, you get that x is not 4, x is not 2, x is not negative 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's cross off what we can. We can cross off x plus 6, and we can cross off x minus 4. So we have x minus 1 on top, and we have x minus 2 on the bottom once we cancel that out. So these right here are your two answers. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at number 8. So we're going to have to do some factoring on the bottom here. So we're going to multiply to 18 and add to negative 9. So that's negative 6 and negative 3. Same thing for this guy right here, this one. So we're going to multiply to negative 27 and add to 6. So that's going to be 9 and negative 3. Now hopefully setting up the x goes relatively quickly for you now. If it doesn't, let me know so we can work on it. So our first fraction is going to stay the same, except that I'm going to simplify the bottom so it has the factors written. Okay, now this x right here is on the bottom of this fraction. So because I'm dividing the fraction, I need to flip where it's located. So I'm going to get x plus 9. Going well for me, is it, guys? We had announcements, we had someone coming to my door. Okay, so then we have this right here. And then beneath, x minus 1 and x plus 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my excluded values. So x minus 6 cannot be 0, x minus 3 cannot be 0, x minus 5 cannot be 0, x plus 5 cannot be 0. So then we get that x cannot be 6, 3, 5, or negative 5. So that's your final answer for for your excluded values. Let's go ahead and simplify. So we can cross off our x minus 3's, and that is it. So what we're going to do, no wait, can we cross off something else? No. So what we're going to do is we're going to write out all of our factors. As 1, and you can leave it unfactored like this. That is totally fine, okay? So that's your final answer for number 8. Now, let's take a look at number 9. So for number 9, you're going to be multiplying to negative 8 and adding to negative 2. So negative 4, 2. And the second one, multiplying to negative 20, and then negative, so you're going to have a positive 5 and a negative 4. X minus 4, x plus 2, divided by x minus 7, x plus 3. So then again, we're going to flip that second fraction. So here we're going to have x minus 7, x plus 3, and on the bottom, x plus 5, x minus 4. So now we're going to go ahead and start our excluded values. X minus 7, x plus 3 is not equal to 0, x plus 5 is not equal to 0, x minus 4 is not equal to 0. Okay? So now we end up getting that x cannot be 7, negative 3, 5, and 4. So those are your excluded values. Now we need to cross off the leftover factors that we can. So we can do x minus 7, we can do x plus 3, and we can do x minus 4. So left on top is x plus 2, and on the bottom is x plus 5. So each of these are our answers for number 9. Last but not least, let's take a look at number 10. So we're looking at NASA Space Mars Odyssey craft. So it took 265 days for it to travel 428 billion miles. We want to find the average speed in miles per hour. So what we have right now is miles per day. So we have 428 billion miles in 1 day. So what we want is miles per hour. So we need to change that day label. So in every 1 day, there are 24 hours. So now I've crossed off the day, and you notice what's left is miles per hour. So you're going to take this and divide it by this. And when you do that, you get 67,295.6 miles per hour. So that concludes your review video for today. If you're still confused on stuff, because I know there were a couple interruptions, please let me know. Thanks for listening.